Welcome back, everybody. In studio today, we have this lovely gentleman, Marine. I was gonna say former Marine, but still Marine. Goes by the name of Mhanu.
Correct.
Mhanu.
Yes, sir.
Let's get the spelling on that.
It's Mhanu.
MH.
So it's kind of like a silent H.
Okay, I like it. It's kind of like it's like the D in Pam.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by, man. Now you reached out. I think you said, "Hey, I'd love to come on." Or did I reach? I don't remember. How did that?
I think I seen one of your posts and you said, "Hey, anybody want to talk? Like, reach out." And
Yeah.
And I seen that post. I reached out, and here we are.
That's dope, dude. I appreciate it, man. And you came from where?
Fontana area.
Okay,
Inland
not too
Empire.
far.
Yeah.
Right on. So now, Mhanu,
Yeah.
that is, you said it was Hawaiian?
It's an Hawaiian name.
Hawaiian name,
Yeah.
but you're not from Hawaii.
No, I was born and raised in Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane, bro. I think you're the first person I've ever met from there.
Oh yeah. Wow.
How dope is that?
It's a small ass country.
What, so you were born in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. Describe that.
It's a very liberal country. It's just a very small country, so the countryside itself fits into the state of Alaska 50 times. So you kind of have a comparison of how small it is. I think you can drive from the north part of the country to the southern part of the country within like probably 4 hours.
Okay.
So, but Amsterdam itself is just another big metropolitan city. It's very liberal. It's known for the red light district, the tulips, the cheese, and the coffee shops. And so I grew up just being a city slicker, man, just surrounded by concrete and vehicles, and yeah, that's kind of how I grew up. It's no different than like New York or Los Angeles.
What about trouble? Like, did you get in like? Were you a troubled kid? Like, how was your upbringing?
I think I grew up kind of like a hustler, a little street hustler. Just didn't have a lot of supervision from my parents over my life. My mom was half her life she was an addict, so she was in bars and coffee shops and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
My real daddy passed away before I was born, so. I always had stepdads in my life that they just supplied a paycheck to the table, and then really didn't care too much about myself. So I was always out in the streets, man, just doing my own thing and kind of just figuring life out on my own, and never really got into much trouble. Never really got involved with drugs or alcohol, even though it's so readily accessible around you. I mean, I was 6, 7, 8 years old carrying 6 Heineken bottles in a bag with 2 packs of smokes that I went and got at the store for my parents.
Like it was normal.
Yeah, normal.
Wow.
You could walk into a coffee shop, I believe at the time you're like 16, and you can buy marijuana or a hash. But because I've seen so many people around me using it and misusing it, that I really never had an interest in it. And it wasn't illegal, so there was no real craving to really like go, dive into that. Not until I moved to the United States, when in the 90s, I got to Alaska, and my mom married my stepdad. They went on a honeymoon after like 5 years. The honeymoon was during the summertime, so Alaska is beautiful.
So life was good.
Yeah, it was beautiful out there. It never gets dark. So as soon as she came back from the honeymoon, she was like, "Hey, we're packing up. We're moving to Alaska. It's much better than growing up in the city." Well, she never experienced the winter before, so that was kind of a little shock, the first winter.
Trying it for the first time, not just let's go.
That's it,
dude. Yeah. That's insane.
So when I got to Alaska and everything was illegal and it's so forbidden, that's when I really started getting into like trying to smoke and trying to drink and do recreational drugs and stuff like that, because it was just, first of all, I felt like there was nothing to do. I was in the middle of the woods. The town that I grew up in was very small, Talkeetna, Alaska.
Okay.
About 2,500 people at the time. I think my graduating class was 31 people. Total population of the school from 7th grade to 12th grade was 250 kids. So everybody knew of each other. Everybody knew each other. And so there wasn't much to do. We didn't have a movie theater. We didn't have really much of anything. We had 4 bars and a laundromat, and so we were too young to be in the bars. So just find things to do and keep yourself occupied, and kind of mimic what the adults are doing, and so yeah, that was actually my first time really being introduced to anything that wasn't really good for me, but. Growing up in the city, I mean, it was nice. It was just, I had all the amenities of everything right around me. I, flip of a button for the AC or the electric, and that all changed when I got to Alaska. Yeah, we moved in the middle of the woods with no
That's
running water,
insane.
no electricity, no indoor plumbing.
So completely just flipped your life.
Oh yeah,
like
culture
upside
shock.
down.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it was
Wow.
good. I learned a lot about survival. You know, I learned a lot about guns and hunting, and learned about you know, keeping warm and chopping wood and growing your own veggies in the summertime, because you know all the produce in Alaska is pretty expensive, since most of the stuff in the wintertime is exported or imported into the state. So I learned a lot, and I really didn't appreciate it at the time. I just want to go back to the city.
Because it was easier.
What's that? The easy life.
Right.
Yeah. So the day that I turned 18, you know, you're technically an adult. So I bought a plane ticket and went back home to Amsterdam.
Now, not to sound stupid, but is there a language in Amsterdam?
Yeah, it's Dutch.
Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that was your first language?
It was, yeah. I would say about 90% of the population in the Netherlands knows how to speak English.
Okay.
You know, you get it taught in school. You watch MTV. You got English movies with, you know, Dutch subtitles, and you know, I would probably say more than half the revenue that the country makes is from tourism.
Gotcha.
So you better know how to speak some English.
Right. So when you went to Alaska, the only language you knew was primarily Dutch, or did you know like broken English, or what was?
A little bit of English, a little bit
Okay.
of textbook, you know, definitions.
Right.
Like the first time somebody called me a bro, I was like, "What is that?"
Look
Whoa.
at dictionary.
What's a bro? You know, or I knew what a handkerchief was, but I had no idea what a bandana was.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, so it's just more textbook, you know, kind of stuff that I knew, and then, you know, just learn as I went on. Found out what elbow grease was.
Gotcha.
That
So
was-
like the American little funny slang terminology.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, so how you were in Alaska for how long?
About 6 years.
Okay, and then you said I'm out, going back to the Netherlands.
Yeah, yeah. Did that for about 2 years. Just being, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old. Had a lot of fun. No regulations really over me. Nobody to watch me do what I wanted to do. But I got wrapped up in that party lifestyle, and I got wrapped up in drugs and got addicted to crack cocaine.
Oh,
and,
shit.
And that just it just put me downhill real quick. Within like 6 months, I pretty much had nothing left. And I had to make a phone call to my mom and saying, "Hey, I got to admit something. You know, for the last 6 months, I've been smoking crack and got $500 left. Man, can I come home, or otherwise I'm going to be out in the street smoking up the last 500
Right.
bucks." So she told me, "Get your ass home."
What do you think? Leaving Alaska, you had an addiction?
I wouldn't necessarily think that I had an addiction. I think that I had the mindset of like I have done it all already.
Okay.
I've done cocaine, I've done mushrooms, I've done acid, I've done marijuana. So I thought like I'm an experienced pro. Never really dabbled around with crack cocaine, and when I was in Amsterdam, it was called something different. You know, it's called bori. And they didn't smoke it out of a crack pipe. They kind of smoked it out of like this homemade cup, kind of this contraption that they made. And so it never really registered in my mind that I was smoking crack. I
Gotcha.
was smoking bori.
Okay.
You know, which
Which wasn't bad.
no, I didn't think so. It was like a party drug, you know. And it started off doing it once every other month on the weekend with some buddies, you know, like 5 or 6 of us, and then it kind of turned into an every month kind of a thing, and then
Gotcha.
like every other week, and then every week, and then. You know, you start out with like 5 or 6 people. Everybody kind of chips in, but you know, some don't chip in as much. So like we kind of like stop inviting this guy, and then your group
okay.
gets smaller and smaller, and your usage becomes more and more.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're by yourself, you know, because you're like, fuck this dude, fuck
Right.
that dude. Like this is my money,
All mine.
and it's all my, you know, my substance. So and then you just kind of just spiral out of control, or at least I did. And I've seen many people in my life, so I'm kind of going down the same path when it comes to substance abuse.
Just describe for those listening that have never experienced crack cocaine. What was it like your first time? Like, what did you experience?
Oh man, it was such a euphoric high, such a rush. It was man, like the dopamines that just flooded my body. It just felt so overwhelming and great. It was just like maybe like drinking 10 Red Bulls all in one, right? And
Just right now.
oh yeah, man. And that lasts for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. And then you get a craving to do more.
Oh, okay.
It's you just
So
constantly
the
want
switch
that.
up here is like, I need more of that.
Yeah, like give me some more.
Okay.
You know? And in the beginning, you're just like, okay, I think I can manage this, right? And then the more you start doing it, the more that feeling and that thought intensifies to like, I want to just do it all the time.
And then it's just not enough.
Yeah, it's never enough.
Right.
You know, you'll buy $50 worth and you smoke it all up and it's 2:00 in the morning and you know that trap house is always open. So you come over there knocking again and they're more than willing and able to open up the door for you and take your money and give you some more.
That's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
So you called your mom, said, "Hey, I got $500. I need to get the fuck out of here, or that's a wrap. You might not hear from me again."
Yeah, yeah. It kind of surprised her. It scared her. I showed her, I sent her a picture, I think, and I was just
Of what you look like?
yeah, like my face was sunken in, my ribs were showing, like I wasn't taking care of myself. Like my main focus was just get that crack every day.
Right.
And you know, I kind of maintained the job, but I was barely hanging on because I would go through these benders and then fall asleep at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I wouldn't wake up at 6 o'clock to go to work. You know, I kind of remember my boss, there's a few times just pounding on my door until I finally woke up.
No shit.
Yeah.
Almost like you wanted that high. If you had the choice, you would want it over breathing.
Oh, yeah.
If you had the choice, yeah, you would be like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I want this high. Like, I don't have to breathe."
Nothing matters anymore.
Right.
I just want that high. I just want that feeling.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you jump on a plane back to Alaska.
Yeah, back to Alaska,
chopping
man.
wood, fucking.
Not so much chopping wood anymore. You know, just kind of was downtown and lived with a buddy for a little bit, and then moved back to my mom's. And when I was living with my buddy, man, we're 20 years old and we're slanging, we're partying, we're drinking underage. It was
That's in Alaska.
Yeah, Anchorage, Alaska, man.
Okay.
We had a house. We didn't pay no rent, man. It was like his grandma's house.
I heard it's bad over there.
Yeah,
like from what I watch on TV. And
there's certain areas, yeah. I mean, Alaska is the last frontier, right? So it's so big, man. Like you get in trouble in the lower 48, guess what, man? Just go dip out in Alaska. They're not gonna find you. Right. Yeah, it's so big. So but yeah, I got back into Alaska and I got back into like the party mode kind of, and then maybe about 6 months later, I just had an oh shit moment, like a wake up. Like what are you doing? Like you're gonna end up in jail. You're gonna end up in the morgue. Like you need to do something with yourself. So I moved back to my mom's house, just trying to work construction and make money for college. Okay. So my mom didn't have a lot of money, didn't have no benefits in any direction. So it was like you just got to make money so you can go to school.
Now, are you an only child?
No, I got 2 younger brothers and an older sister.
Oh, okay, right on.
So I'm the oldest of the boys, and my middle brother, he just got out of Marine Corps boot camp. He just did his 3 months of training and came home on his boot leave. He did recruiter duty, and if he gets to sign somebody up while he was on boot leave, he gets an extra rank.
Oh shit.
And he didn't tell me that part.
Right.
But he told me the Marine Corps will pay for my college, and so I don't have to work so hard. And it's great. You get to shoot guns and throw grenades and get to play G.I. Joe. So I was like, well, why not? Like I looked at the history of like when's the last time we went to war, and it was 1990, the Gulf Storm. And I thought, yeah, why not? Like it seems like a pretty safe move. We've been quiet for 10 years. I only got to do 4 years active and 4 years inactive. Why not? So I signed that contract, went to boot camp, and broke my arm in boot camp. So I got put in medical.
You got recycled.
Yeah, medical recovery platoon.
That was my worst nightmare. Yeah. Like I don't care what anybody listening that's never. I don't even know if they do that in Army boot camp or any other boot camp, right? But Marine Corps boot camp is your worst fear is getting recycled. Yeah. That's like, nah, bro, I ain't going back and doing this shit over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn. So you went back. What training phase were you at?
I was first week in Pendleton on the range.
Oh shit.
And we were in formation and we got told fall out, and I'm running, towards the squad base. Somebody stepped on my ankle, made me fall over, and when I fell and hit the ground, my arm broke, my wrist broke.
Oh my
and so
God.
Ended up at the Naval Hospital, and they put about a half cast on, 3/4 cast. And I remember coming back to the drill instructor like, I can still hold my weapon, I can still shoot,
I can still train.
And he's like, nope, you're leaving.
Right.
So
you went. So did you go back to like a chill platoon till you healed up?
Yeah, medical recovery platoon, MRP.
Yeah.
Back in MCRD, San Diego, I became a whiskey locker recruit and just sat there and spit shine boots all day and handed out supplies while I was just popping my pain pills and everybody else's pain pills in the whiskey locker.
And this was 2000?
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I finally graduated after 5 months of being MCRD, and then I got home, and it was like September 9th when I got home, 2001, and a few days later, 9/11 happened, and I remember I was in the dorms in Anchorage. One of my buddies, he didn't have no cable and shit. You know, it was just a party spot, and we've been partying all night and sprawled out over the floor with beer cans everywhere. And we get a phone call from his sister, says, "Turn on the TV. You know, you got to see what's happening." And he says, "I don't even have a TV."
Fuck.
So she says, "Come downstairs to the Denny's." You know, I'm downstairs, so we went down to the Denny's, and then we seen what happened. In New York, and right away, on the news, they're already saying terrorist attack and we're going to war. And,
Right.
and I thought, oh, shit, man, I just signed that contract.
Right.
I can't get out of it. So
Did they tell you in boot camp, when I went in, they did, I don't know if they still do it, but do they gather you up and say, hey, listen, guys, there's some shit going on? Because you don't know what's going on outside the walls at boot camp, right? Did they gather you guys up and tell you that same shit? Like, hey, just let you guys know, man, we're about to go hit some shit right now.
yeah, it was actually crazy that you mentioned that, because now I remember I got a phone call a day or two later saying that I might get called back from my boot leave and get ready to deploy. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I haven't even done Marine combat training
Right.
yet. And I just got done with boot camp. You're telling me that I might have to deploy.
Right, I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. But I mean, that was just words at the time.
Right.
It's still I still went through Marine Corps combat training, and then when I went to my MOS school, and then finally got stationed out in 29 Palms, California. Was with a combat logistics battalion that supported the infantry, and then I got word, or our unit got word, that we were going to be an advanced party going out there unloading the Navy ships, and I got advanced word that I was going to be one of the first ones to go out there. I was a motor transport operator, and so I was pretty squared away. I got all my licenses, and some of the brasses was going over there. Prior to everybody else, needed a driver, and that was me. So I remember I passed inspection one day, and they said, "I take the rest of the day off." And I was like, "Wow, man, that never happens." And they said, "Because you're deploying tonight."
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so about 12 hours, to get my affairs in order, and then I left on a commercial flight with 3 officers. And by the time we hit Kuwait City, the officers really had no idea what was going on. There were a bunch of captains and lieutenants, and they told me to get ready. I thought it was like Private Ryan, right? I thought I was going to kick the airplane door open and then I get into this battlefield. And
right.
So I'm locked and loaded by the time the door opens up. And then I see my gunnery sergeant standing there with no Kevlar, no gun, no nothing, just happy as all shit to see me. "Hey, Devil Dog, come on down."
Right.
I'm like, "Where's the war?"
Here's a soda.
Yeah. So, it took about 2 months or so for us just to sit around and unload and get ready until we finally got that call from the president to say, "Hey, go across that border."
Yeah, the first push.
Yeah. So, our original mission was 7 days till Baghdad, but it took us, I believe, 21 days, just because of unforeseen weather conditions and, bridges and roads being blown up and stuff
Right.
like that, and sandstorms definitely. And we made it to Baghdad after 3 weeks, and then because I supplied beans, bullets, and Band-Aids to the infantry, I just got to drive all around the country and just see everybody. I've even seen 2 of the guys that I joined with from Alaska. It was a mission of mine to go find them, and I ended up finding these guys. They were combat engineers out of Pendleton, and so yeah, I've seen the whole country, man, and it wasn't fun, but I also got messed up when I was down there from just being tossed around so much. It really messed up my back, and after coming back from OIF, they told me I needed surgery. So dug right into my back and did the surgery, and that really started a whole process of just going downhill. I really had never given an option of doing anything but surgery. And you're
Right.
a young Marine, and it's like, "Hey, you got to do surgery," and you say, "Yes, sir." When,
Right.
where, and how.
Right.
And they messed up on the surgery, and they didn't put in a drain. So blood started accumulating in that area until about a baseball-sized hematoma had built up and left me paralyzed.
Damn.
That was a really scary part of my life. And then did a corrective surgery to take that out. And so I had 2 back surgeries on my back, and I just toughed it out. I wanted to get out honorably. I didn't want to get an other than honorable or medical discharge. So really just sucked it up and said I was good to go, and all the way until my contract finished, and and then I got out.
So describe to me now, you went from smoking crack, right?
Yeah.
In Netherlands.
Yeah.
You're in Amsterdam. You're having the time of your life. $500 left. Fucking bottom of the barrel is coming. End of life could have been coming.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could say that. Make the phone call. Mom's like, yo, come on, let's go. You get back to Alaska. You're still partying. Little bro comes home and's like, hey, I got something for you.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck it. What was it like? How did you change that mentality to go to boot camp? Like, what did you cut cold turkey? Like, what happened? Like the transition? Because I mean, I remember they ask you these questions like, have you done this? Have you done that? Obviously, you never done anything, right?
Never.
And same with me. I never smoked weed or did anything bad when, before I went in. Never hurt my knee and football and none of that shit. But what was it like? Going from living on the edge like that to literally nothing, like being told when you can shit, when you can talk, when.
Yeah, it was rough, man. I really didn't know what I signed up for, and after boot camp, I used to tell people I would never wish boot camp on my worst enemy, man. Like, what did I just experience?
Right.
But I took that leap because I looked at my life and I said, where am I going? I have no other way out. I have no money. My parents have no money. Education is pushed so much. You got to go to college. You got to get a degree so you can get a good job. And for me, the military was just a way to get out of Alaska. And I think majority. Well, there's like three type of groups that come out of high school, right? It's either the people that have money to be able to go to college or get a student loan. The other people, their parents or their family members, somebody works up on the North Slope where they drill for all the oil, and you get a way into one of these companies and make really good money by doing a lot of hard work, or you join the military,
right?
And so I didn't have no connections to go on the North Slope. I didn't have no money for college. The work that I was doing, I was pretty much just spending it all just trying to stay alive. So it really wasn't saving up a whole lot for college. And and the military was just like, it seems like a great opportunity, get to travel the world. They're going to feed me, I get to shoot some guns, which is cool.
Right.
But I never really knew the back end of what could happen to you. It was just a way out for me.
What's funny is you don't, there's so many mental issues that we face that you don't think about when you sign that contract. You don't think of the long term, like, damn, I'm gonna be fucked up later on.
Yeah, your recruiter doesn't tell you that.
You know what and he's sitting there drinking every day, right? He goes home and wants to beat his wife and stuff, and he's on his fourth divorce, and they don't tell you the lows. They just tell you, come on, it's gonna be great, and you feel great. You do. Putting on that uniform, it gives you an identity. But what people don't realize is when you get out and you wear normal clothes like this, and we fit in with everybody who hasn't done shit in their lives. There's no identity.
Well, what I wanted to bring up is that what I really got out of, now looking back 15 years ago, what I really got out of it is like, it only took 3 months, well, in my case, 5 months, your case, 3 months, to brainwash you completely from everything that you ever stood for or whatever you thought and believed in. That was changed within 3 months. Now you're a lean, green killing machine.
It was changed in like a month.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 months was the finish polishing the turd, but like the first month for me, I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, I don't know shit. Okay, whatever you need me to do, like, I'm okay. Damn.
And then, you do your 4 years or whatever, and then it takes a week for them to discharge you.
You're gone.
Like, hey, thanks for your service, and, here's a cookie, and, you're out the door. Like, why aren't we getting 3 months of training to become a civilian again?
Reintegration course, and TAPS is bullshit.
Right, exactly.
Steps and TAPS was the biggest waste of fucking time ever.
It's just formalities.
Yeah, it's more of just, hey, watch this spreadsheet or watch this, what's that called where they have the slides and shit, the slideshow, and anybody have any questions? Nobody cares.
No, I just want to get out.
Who
who cares about this shit? Let me get out. And then I see the same problem with pretty much 90% of all veterans that I deal with. It's and I speak from Marine Corps experience. Like we say, hey, we're the best. We're the rough and tough. We're John Wayne. We're badasses. And so we don't ask for help. We adapt and we overcome. That's our motto.
Right.
And so you don't talk about your feelings. You don't talk about your emotions because, one thing that I've always heard, hey, emotions will get you killed in the battlefield.
Right.
So we're going to strip you from all your emotions, but then they never give them back to you. And so when you start becoming a civilian and you start dealing with actual emotions, like true natural human emotions, you don't really know how to act on those and how to process them. And so what do we know? The number one thing we know to do best is self-medicate. And we drink. You know, like I'm sure you went to the barracks every other night.
Oh,
and,
we fucking partied.
yeah, right. So, and that was like for 4 years. So, I mean, if you have that type of mentality, then once you transition into the civilian life, it's like, okay, well, I'll just fucking drink.
I didn't stop.
Yeah.
It just continued. I just didn't have any standards and uniform to put on.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, oh shit, I don't have to shave, but I can still get fucked up.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
Like,
and then, you know, then that spirals out of control. I
Right.
ended up getting 2 DUIs. Went to, you know, to prison, or not prison, but jail a handful of times for fighting, disorderly conduct, drunk in public.
Right.
And then you have that one moment where you wake the fuck up one day and you're like, what am I doing, man? Like, I'm just, my life was slowly declining, on a very slow decline, and I wasn't catching it. So then one day, you know, about nine plus years ago now, I quit drinking. And that was probably the best thing that I've ever done for myself, because my life was slowly going downhill. And the minute I quit drinking, everything just went uphill.
What did you find to replace the alcohol?
Opioids.
That was my problem.
Yeah. So, you know, I had 2 back surgeries in the
Then
core.
it was like,
and the VA, I mean, shit, man.
How many were you getting?
$250 a month.
So I was getting 180.
Yeah, and then one time they found marijuana in my system, so they
Cut you off.
took 60 away a month.
Oh, so
and
they cut me off.
I was super upset about that. But yeah, like in my mind, the oxys were all right because I had a government prescription. It's legal.
Right.
I have a reason to do it. You know, so. And it comes from a professional.
He went to school for how many years to give this to me?
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. And, you know, like, and then, you know, they always have the formalities, you know, when you do your refill. Like, do you have any side effects? Fuck no, I don't have side effects.
Right.
If I tell you one side effect, then you're not going to give them to me no more. So
I felt like I was like on speed when I took mine. I would get like amped up.
Right.
Like it would just make me go like wild. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't, you know, fuck all night long.
Yeah, I couldn't take them orally because they would fuck with my stomach. So I just ended up crushing them and snorting them all the time.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you like rectally, or I didn't know that.
And I snort them, you know. I mean, you could try that. But yeah, man, I did that for years, and that really changed me. That really changed me for who I was. And if you want to get educated a little bit on OxyContin and where it came from and what it does to you, there's a really good show on Hulu. It's called Dope Sick.
Okay.
It's like 6 or 8, you know, episodes, and it'll give you the whole history about the Kessler family that, you know, introduced it to the FDA and all the corruption in the FDA. But also, one of the biggest things that I got out of it was that it changes the frontal lobe of your brain. It slowly eats away at it.
Oh,
and
no
so
shit.
That's why we turn into these different individuals. That's why we become more depressed. We become a completely just aggravated, short-fused individual that just can't even control his temper. I mean, at least I couldn't. You know, I had times where I'm yelling and screaming on the top of my lungs. I don't believe in physical abuse. Never have, never will. But I mean, I can scream, man. I'm a Marine, dude. I know how to get that voice real deep, you know, and make people cry, you know. And like, I got veins popping out on the side of my neck because I'm so worked up, you know. And then eventually, you know, you get that guilt and that remorse, and then, you know, like, I got an arsenal of guns at home because, you know, I'm a man. I gotta have those guns, And then I'm sitting at the edge of my bed with a gun, you know, and your finger on the trigger, off safety, you know, tinkering around, holding it against my head, thinking like, would I just be much better off if I wasn't here? You know, and
did you ever want to commit suicide?
Oh, many times, man, many times.
What stopped you?
That I have kids, you know, and I always that, and it still replays in my head all the time. Like, I will stop my problems, but I'm gonna start a whole new set of problems for everybody else.
Major,
and they're gonna hate me and resent me for the rest of my life. And you know, my dad was a druggie, and before I was born, he had passed away from heroin usage in the 80s, and I kind of resented him for that. You know, like, here, you know, like you go bring a baby into this world, but then you're so selfish that, you know, like you take your own life by the use of substances. And so that my kids always stop me, and just thinking about my kids. But then you don't want to talk about it, right? Because like, the minute you mention something to somebody, like, you feel like you're gonna get locked up, your guns are gonna take it away, like you lose your rights, you lose your meds, you know.
It's taboo. It's one of those things that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody wants to talk about it. It's kind of fucked up.
Oh, it is. It's big time.
I used to get mad because I couldn't.
Right.
I would get mad at myself because I couldn't. I would be there, I would want to, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I would get mad at myself because of that when I would hear stories of people that could.
Right.
And I'm like, man, what's why are you different?
Yeah.
What's different from me? I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And whatever it was, you know, for me, it was my family. It was the fact of, like you said, that long-term mental fuck of, you know, my dad did it later on. Now they might be like, well, so can I.
Yeah.
And ruin their life.
No,
you know, because and then realistically is like when you want to commit suicide, you don't really want to kill yourself. You want to kill something inside of you that's eating away and hurting you.
Yeah, you want to get that bad feeling out of you. You want your problems to stop.
Basically, yeah, a bad feeling. And then if you can find the way to get rid of that, it's not killing you. Killing yourself is the easy way to just get rid of it, but you don't want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing. Have you ever seen that guy that jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge? You ever heard of that story?
No.
I forgot the guy's name. He describes, I think he's the only one who's ever lived. He literally jumps off, shows the video. He's riding a bus. He was a kid. He's crying on this bus. And there's a couple guys making fun of him. Look at this little bitch over here crying or whatever. He gets off the bus at the Golden Gate stop right there and runs. And he goes, I remember running and I put my hands and I leap off. He goes, as soon as my hands left that railing, I had instant regret. Instantly. He falls all the way down, hits the water. He goes, I hit so hard, it created some type of like vacuum. It sucked him like 70 feet down. Broke all the bones and damn near in his body. He couldn't swim. His legs were fucking spaghetti. And comes up to the surface and he's like looking at everything like, what the fuck? Like, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And so now he goes around and tells his story. It's very powerful. If you get a chance, look up the golden guy who jumps off Golden Gate Bridge and survives.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I wonder how many are at that moment saying, I'm ready to end it. And as soon as they pulled that trigger, what if you had like a 5-second delay?
Yeah.
Where you could move that gun away, say, no, this isn't what I want. Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. How many people have gone, you would still be alive today because they pulled that trigger and it didn't go because they had that 5-second delay.
Right.
You know what I mean? How many they would still be here?
Right. I had a buddy of mine take his own life a few years back, and nobody's seen it come in, you know, like always, and they said by the way that the gunshot looked that because it wasn't just like this or in the mouth, like it looked like he had last minute, you know, doubts and was pulling the gun away, but having the finger on the trigger, you know, blew the top of his skull away. And so
that sucks.
And I took it really hard on that one because that was my journey after I already quit drinking, and he was a big time alcoholic, and I shared my story with him, and he was like, dude, like, I can so relate to you. Like, do you mind helping me quit? And so I was on the phone with him every other day and, you know, long conversations and giving him that motivation. And I had taken a week off from talking to him, and that's when that happened. So I took a lot of that on myself. Like, if I would have been on the phone for that week with him, it might have not have happened. And I kind of had to learn how to let go of that and know that it wasn't, I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
You know, so,
literally had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just an example of, you know, like some people, like nobody really wants to do it. You know?
Right. Well, it's like I seen a thing on TikTok the other day. It said, describe like how you feel every day. And it says, I'm living in a body that fights to survive with a mind that wants to die.
All right.
And I'm like,
That's sad.
wow, that is crazy. Like now when you put it into that, like how many people are living in a body that fights to survive, but a mind that wants to die?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I got 22 skulls tatted on my side, man, and you know, and that's just the number that we're getting, right? But I'm sure that number is much higher in the veteran community.
Oh, I think it's padded.
But I mean, you know, just not even just the veteran community, just the whole community in a whole. We got so many people with that mindset,
right?
And you know, I'm a firm believer that it comes from society. I feel that suicide is a man-made feeling. You know, we're not. I don't believe that we're born with having that organic feeling like that. And what I mean with that is, like, here you got my dog Bruiser, right? You know, he grew up with his wifey, you know, and she passed away 3 years ago. And he didn't want to go jump in front of a bus or, you know, he didn't, you know, wanted to jump off the first cliff that he's seen, and he had many opportunities. You know, it's just something that's been imprinted on us for our entire lives. You know,
Where if it gets rough,
yeah,
this is how you can take care of it.
yeah,
if you
like
want.
just imagine if you would have never heard of suicide or the word or the concept of it,
Right.
you would have never been in that predicament ever in your life.
Right.
You know, it's just like my 8-year-old daughter, I kind of experimented with her, and I wanted to never tell her about the boogeyman or the monster under the bed. And I never did, right? I never mentioned it, never brought it up. But then one day she comes to me and she says, I'm scared of the boogeyman underneath my bed. Well, where did you get that from? Right. Well, she picked it up in school and she learned it on YouTube and on the television shows.
Right.
You know, so if you don't bring something up and then you don't imprint it in somebody's mind, then, you know, then you can avoid it. But I mean, it's kind of hard in society nowadays to try to avoid that. I mean, you can probably live in Alaska and
yeah, if you don't have internet and TV and shit, then you can get through just fine. But it's like watching a scary movie. You know, for me, it's always been just like, this is a movie. This was filmed. This was directed. Those are actors.
There's no but you are how old?
43.
Yeah, my 8-year-old don't think that way. You know, she thinks whatever she sees on television, there's a lot of truth into it.
No, I'm saying for me growing up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, me now too, but that's what I teach my kids too, is like, hey, listen, you know, I understand that you're watching this on TV, but you have to understand that you're watching it on TV. This was filmed, just like you see me out here in my trailer with the lights and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Those are people that put makeup on. Those are people that are just at Freddy Krueger. Like, I'm not gonna lie, growing up at first, Freddy Krueger, when I first seen it, I was scared shitless.
Oh, yeah, man.
I didn't want to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jason didn't bother me. Okay. I didn't have a problem with Jason. It was Freddy. And I think that might be why I have sleeping issues still. I don't know. You know, I always saw the fucking thing coming through the chest, through the bed, and you're like,
yeah.
And then the whole song, you know,
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah, like, that shit would freak me the fuck out. So
yeah.
But then I learned, you know, growing up and seeing shit. You know, I grew up in rough. My mom, she liked to experiment with certain powders and stuff, and vacuumed at like 2 a.m. You know, wake up to the house being cleaned and shit. Like, what the fuck you doing? So then I knew what true horror was. I got to see it real life, you know, and then I seen like, oh, that movie wasn't shit. Like, I could watch Freddy all day long now. Fuck, me and him can kick back and smoke weed. Like, get the fuck out of here. So do you think your brother saved your life, or had something to do with?
No, I don't think he saved my life. I think he was put there for a reason, and you know, for his own selfish reasons, you know, was the reason for me to go in.
Did he know that you had issues and problems?
No, not really. No.
Did other than your mom, did anybody in your family know that you were your sister and your other brothers?
No, and I was so juvenile at the time, and like being called a junkie, or call yourself a junkie, or a crack addict, or smoking crack. Like, I can talk freely about it now because it's been so long. But especially the first 6 months, first 5, 10 years, hell no. I never told nobody, hey, man, I used to smoke crack.
Because it hurts.
Because, yeah, it hurts me, but also the stigmatism that you get from it.
That's what I mean. It hurts.
Yeah.
Like, it stings when you mention that. Like,
yeah. And like, if I tell somebody, hey, man, I used to smoke crack, like, instantly people are going to have a certain reflection of me. Like, oh, you know, he might not be that strung up here. Or, you know, or he lived on the street, or he was dirty, or, you know, it's just the image that we get that's been imprinted in us once again about what a crack addict is.
Well, they didn't hear used to.
Right.
They don't hear used to.
Yeah.
Long time ago, I did, yes.
Yeah.
But they don't hear that. They hear just smoke crack, and you're like, oh shit, you're fuck, what, whoa.
And it's the same thing with being an alcoholic, right? I mean, what's in all these programs, man? Like, the first thing is denial, right? Or saying that you're an alcoholic. Like, nobody wants to have a label on them, you know, because of how bad the label looks.
Because of society.
Yeah, man.
How people are going to.
So you think I wanted to tell anybody that was crushing up 15, you know, oxys a day and snorting them, you know, and
15?
Oh, yeah, man.
Bro, you were on a good one.
Yeah. You build up a tolerance after a few years, too, you know. And
did you ever smoke them?
No, I tried, and yeah, it wasn't my thing. And I know you could like shoot them up and stuff like that, but since I knew my dad like shot up heroin, you know, in his life, like that wasn't really never my thing. I was always real scared of that. So I never really fucked around with needles except for when I was doing bodybuilding, and shooting up the roids was no problem.
Yeah, I did a cycle.
Yeah, so but no, man, I got, there was one day I just woke up and I was like, this oxy, you know, is gonna kill me, you know, and it changes me for who I am, and I need help. I really need help, man. And the VA is not helping me. They're just, every time I went to BHOS and behavioral mental health, like you're supposed to have a 30-minute or 45-minute, appointment with, psychiatrists and stuff. And the first thing that they do is say, what's your symptoms? You tell them, and they say, okay, we're going to try these medicines on you. Come back in 30 or 60 days from now and let me know how it works. And if it doesn't work, we'll just up the dose or we'll try something different.
Right. There's more pills.
Yeah, they never talked about how do you feel right now? What do you, what do you want to convey or anything like that? It was just like, let's see what works on you, And so I knew the VA wasn't there to help me. And I just had to take matters in my own hands. And so I'm very knowledgeable, man, and I do a lot of research. And I just started looking up, like, how are people getting away from these type of addictions. And I was Googling something, and I came across a video on YouTube about this British Marine who's been through like 8 or 9 different conflicts and was in for like 20 some odd years. And the British Marines are fucking badasses, right?
Right.
And this dude got medically hurt and he had to get out. And, he went through the same story as all of us, right? Like first an alcoholic and then, the drugs and then suicidal. And then somebody had mentioned him like, hey, have you ever tried equine therapy, with horses? And he's like, man, I fucking hate horses. Like, but I've tried everything else. I might as well give it a shot. And he went to this program for a week and it's changed his life. He was able to quit every single addiction that he had, changed his whole life around to where he went back home and sold everything he got and went and bought a ranch and bought horses and then started this whole program on helping other veterans with equine therapy. Cool. So I thought to myself that there's got to be something similar here in my area or my neighborhood. So I Googled, like horse therapy for veterans. And there was an organization that utilizes a day out of their week treatment in Kansas City called The Battle Within. It's a program that helps first responders and veterans deal with their post-traumatic stress. And they offer 1 day of that type of therapy in their program. And so I filled out an application. I filled out tons of other applications. And I didn't get a call back for like 3 or 4 months. And then when I finally did get a call, they said, hey, are you ready to come down to Kansas City and do this Monday through Friday program? And it's completely on us. It's a 501, and we're going to work on your mind, body, and soul. And I said, well, I got nothing to lose. Let's go. And I went there, and I was scared as shit. I didn't know what to expect. And they'd taken a picture of me, like my profile picture, right, on Monday. And, man, I looked like a deranged serial killer, man.
Right.
I was angry, mad, like this. I had this look in my eye. I should have brought the picture, man. And then they took a picture of me on Friday when I graduated. And what a difference, man. Like, I was 5 days, man. I was full of life, man. I had a smile on my face. I looked welcoming again. And then as a surprise, what they do is they print out the picture and they put both of them next to each other and they give it to you. Kind of there's something in a little keepsake box for you to remember. And that program had taught me how to break my tough John Wayne Marine Corps shell, tear that off of me, and then have my organic Mhanu Boulanger, self come to surface again. And, and Mhanu Boulanger's got emotions, man. Like, I cry and I love and I have all the normal emotions that a human being should have.
Right.
And because I really, I learned how to meditate. We did some yoga. I learned a little bit about nutrition, because everything goes hand in hand together. You can't just do one thing and not the other. And because I seen the value and I seen the changes within myself, I wanted to stick with the program. And so I went through their mentor training and became a mentor for this program, and been out there twice now. And there's small groups, about 8 to 12 veterans / first responders, and we do 4 classes a year, so every 3 months. We do we also have a female group, and man, it transforms people. People come there as like their last thread in life. Like, they're just like, I'm so destructive to myself, my family. I'm so suicidal. Like, I can't live this life no more. And they come there, and it's like a new, you get provided a new set of tools to be able to go back to life and make something of yourself.
Describe what you do. Like, you get there, are you brushing horses, walking them, riding? Like, what?
No, man. So we get there on like the weekend. You get put up in a hotel. The next morning, you get brought out to, it's like a church camp, and it's out in the middle of the woods. I believe it's in Missouri. It's like a summer camp, without all the kids and stuff.
Right.
And so like the first day they bring in a meditation specialist, and she teaches you how to meditate. And I was like, fuck meditation, man. That's for like hippies. And I've tried that shit before and it doesn't work because I'm a scientific kind of guy. I need seeing is believing. Like, show me some evidence.
Facts.
Yeah, man. So she had a slideshow up, and it showed the amygdala, the part of the brain that produces adrenaline.
Oh, she got scientific with it.
Oh, hella scientific, and I love that, man,
Right.
because I was able to connect the dots in my mind.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, this is why
she
things are
bridged
happening.
the gap for you.
Yeah, man. And so the amygdala should be the size of like your pinky nail, like the size of a peanut. But when you've been exposed to drama or trauma in your life, it can extend like any other muscle, right, in our body.
Right.
And so when you've been exposed, it's like the size of a walnut.
Oh shit.
And so every time that you get triggered, your blood gets pumping and the adrenaline gets going through your body way faster than if it was a peanut size amygdala.
Gotcha.
And so by forms of meditation and breathing exercises, you can shrink that amygdala within a few months.
No
and
shit.
with having the slides up there of these people that participated in these studies and having the CAT scans, MRIs, and all that kind of good stuff.
It showed it getting smaller.
It showed it, yeah.
Wow.
And then and then I started noticing the changes within myself. And I liked meditation in the beginning because I would knock the fuck out after 20 minutes. It was like my daily excuse to go take a nap.
Right.
But the better you get at it, the more you get into a meditative state, the less you fall asleep. And I got a little frustrated with that in the beginning. But being able to be inside your own head without any distractions and really like internalize what's going on at that present moment or during the day or whatever it is, it can help you get back down to your cool self. And I used to be a hothead, man. I mean, I was 240 pounds solid muscle, man, and you flip me off, I'm going to tear your head off.
Go time.
Yeah, man. You want to talk about road rage? I heard a little story about, your last podcast. Like, I pull my truck over in front of your truck and I jump out and I literally pulled a guy out of his truck before and I was about to smash him. And the only reason I didn't is because I'm a 2-year-old kid, sitting in the backseat watching me.
Right.
So...
and even that's hard to have that refrain, even if your kids are in there when you lose it and go dark.
Yeah, you just see
kids are not like I'm fucking pissed.
But now, man, I drive in the slow lane, dude. Like I
cruise control.
Yeah, man. I just I just have a good time and like let everybody race around me and do whatever. Like, hey, man, I might show up 3 minutes later than you, but you know what? I'm still cool, and
still retired.
Yeah, man. And I'm not going to give you that energy. I'm not going to let you control my emotions.
Right.
I'm in control of my emotions. And I've given my emotions away so many times to so many different people throughout my life. Yeah, man. Now it feels great that I'm in control,
right.
And I didn't just get there because of meditation. Like there are so many different parts of my life that I had to put together for my life to be as it is right now. And I'm very content in life. I'm very happy. I'm not perfect. Nobody is, but and I still have lots of work to do on myself. But I'm at that point in my life right now where I feel so good about myself that I wanna help other people. Not just veterans. I just want to help the community, because I see there's so much hurt and there's so much pain out there. There's so much substance abuse and alcoholism that and we're just getting layers and layers of society getting put onto us to divert us from fixing ourselves, right? So a story I wanted to share with you is that my back was really disintegrating. I have four back surgeries done. I thought next year I'd probably be in a wheelchair. Always had a walker or a cane. It's all kinds of devices, the oxys, the whole 9 yards.
After military.
Yeah, after military. And so last year my pops passed away, got a little bit of an inheritance, and stem cells was introduced into my life. I watched the Steve-O from Jackass video where him and Danny Way, professional BMX guy, they went out to Medellin, Colombia, at a place called Bio Accelerator. And they did the video. They needed stem cells for their body to fix their body up because they're
fucked up.
Yeah, they've broken everything,
right.
And so they need that. And I was like, what the hell is stem cells? But let me watch this video because they're seeing how long they can stay away with anesthesia. It was a funny video, but in my mind, I was like, what's this stem cell stuff, man? I've never heard of it. 15 years of being at the VA, and not one doctor's ever mentioned it. So I started doing some research, and I signed up with this facility in Medellin. It's where all your UFC fighters go and your NFL players. Went down there
because it's still under trials and shit here in the U.S. Ain't it?
Man, it was legal here, and it worked until they found out that it really works so well. Like, we can't make that shit legal. We got to find some ways to make that stuff illegal because people are losing jobs. I haven't seen a doctor in 11 months. you know, and I used to see a doctor 2-3 times a week, you know, or a physical therapist.
11 months.
Yeah, man, 11 months. I haven't seen nobody. Like I can get up from this couch right now and jump up and down. I could lift my dog, you know, like
Wow.
I wasn't able to do
So
any
you
of
went
that.
over there and just what's the process? Do they inject you?
Yeah, man. So I spent $24,000 as a veteran. You get there on a Sunday. The reason it costs so much, and just as a little disclaimer, you can get it done for way fucking cheaper, right? But you need to do your research. The reason I paid $24,000 is because I got 5-star treatment. You know, 5-star hotel, 5-star accommodations. I got a group of nutritionists, dietitians, a group of doctors, a concierge team. So, like, I could have done without all that, but I just jumped on the first opportunity that I had. And you get there on a Monday, you get a couple of IVs with, like, you know, with some IV stem cells, and you get some IVs with, like, vitamins and stuff. You go an hour into a hyperbaric chamber just to pump you full of pure oxygen. But you also got to be on a diet 3 months prior to this. So, like, on an organic diet, eat only organic stuff. Like,
do you see doctors beforehand? Like, do you talk to doctors? They just say, here's your paper, follow this shit?
Well, you do like weekly follow-up calls, you know, with your dietitians and your nutritionist and the doctor. And
so you got a whole team prior to getting there.
Yeah. And so you know, first day just you know, the IVs and then you know, the hyperbaric chamber. Second day, same thing. Third day I actually had some stem cells put in my face as well. And then it's just for cosmetic purposes, I guess, right? Like it's all natural though.
Would they get rid of acne scars?
Oh yeah. I don't know if it can get rid of them, but it can definitely slow the process down of deterioration in the skin.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's not like Botox or nothing like that, but it definitely, like, people noticed, you know, once I got back. And then Thursday, what they did, I went in for the procedures, about 20-30 minutes. Once again, an hour of hyperbaric chamber and all the IVs and all that kind of good stuff.
Was that chamber every day?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, you got a little video you can watch, you know, like just start a movie one day, finish it the next day. And then for the procedure, they put you under for 20 minutes. And then what they did is they drew an X amount of spinal fluid out of my spine and replaced that with the exact same amount of fluid of stem cell fluid. And so the reason that my back has never really been fixing itself is because the back has a closed loop system with spinal fluid. There's not a lot of blood that gets in there. So we carry our own stem cells in our blood, but it doesn't really get into the spine that much. And I'm 42 years old, so like my stem cells are like half depleted batteries.
Okay.
The stem cells that they're allowed to use overseas, they come from a baby's umbilical cord or a placenta. And so those are like supercharged batteries.
So you're growing right now.
Oh yeah, dude, it's regenerating.
Yeah, you got that. It's almost like, what is that, like doping? How they take like the blood from a fucking athlete that's all hyped up, and then they withdraw it at that time where his body's full, like have potential, and then put it into somebody.
And you don't notice the changes in the beginning. I like to explain it to people. It's like I feel a sand kernel better every day.
No shit.
And it takes 6 months to a year for you to feel the complete effects. And it was February or March is when I went. And like I said, man, I can jump up and down now. Like I wasn't able to jump before. The compression on my back would just buckle my knees and I would fall down.
Yeah, but for 24 grand to me sounds like a drop in the bucket to feel like that.
Well, for me, it was a new car or a new back, and you know, and
that's what I'm saying. It would have been a no-brainer for me too. Like hell,
but
you didn't know you were gonna feel like this prior to that though, did you? Like, did you have any skepticism? Did you have?
I mean, like, because I've done surgeries, I've done physical therapy, aqua therapy, electroshock therapy. I've done everything. Nothing worked, man.
Right.
And because like what the VA does, man, they put a Band-Aid on everything, and Band-Aids, they don't fix nothing. They just protect it for a minute, and then the Band-Aid falls off, and then you have to buy a new Band-Aid. Right. And so that's a continuous process with the VA. Then they don't want to fix you, because if you're fixed, you're not making no more money.
Right.
You know, so another thing that I wanted to mention is that during that organic diet that I had to be on, one of the reasons that they also do that is to alleviate the toxins in your body, right? And to also reduce natural inflammation. So, you know, all the Cokes and the Taco Bell that we eat, it inflames our body. And so the stem cells can also fix the inflammation, but we don't want it to fix the inflammation. We want it to fix the actual problem. And so if you can reduce your natural inflammation in your body, then the stem cells are going to, they're going to concentrate on that broken area.
Okay, gotcha.
And And so 3 months after your procedure, you still got to stick to this diet, you know, and it's pretty intense, man. But, you know, I think my Marine Corps mentality has really helped me get through this, you know, like you give me a paper with black on white and I'm going to follow everything
Right.
to the T,
Right.
you know. And so I think that was a big part of my success. And so I had to take matters in my own hands. Like in the facility, when you get the bag of IVs with all the stem cells in, it was like 750 million new stem cells or something. You get to write something on the bag, you know. And I said, "Fuck you, VA. I'm taking matters in my own hands."
Oh, that's cool.
You know, and so I was able to fix my body physically,
Right.
And like I feel great again, man. And
But you can't do that in the U.S.
you can't, man. Like they'll do stem cells on you in the U.S., but only your own stem cells.
Oh.
So what good is it, dude, to put a half the?
I'm already fucked up. Like, come on now.
I want some new stem cells.
Right.
So, you know, I asked them too. I said, hey, how often do I have to do this procedure? 5, 10, 20 years? Like, how often do I need to come back? And they said, well, how old do you want to get? And I said, well, I don't understand this question. They said, listen, man, every 5 years or so, if you feel like something is breaking down on you, you come back, you get stem cells injected, and that problem kind of goes away. Not 100%, but, you know.
Is that just for joints? So what?
They use it for everything.
Like
man.
if your liver's fucked up.
I met a guy there. He had MS, multiple sclerosis.
Fixed it.
I mean, not fixed it,
Shut
but
the
alleviated a lot of it.
fuck up.
Hypertension, diabetes.
No
They
shit.
even got told by the Health World Organization, hey, stop putting claims out there that the stem cell is helping the COVID. Right? Because during COVID, they're like, come get your
shit.
stem cells, you know? Like, you don't want COVID? Come get some
Right.
stem cells. So, like, it alleviates a big list of
So
medical
pharma
problems.
companies would be out of business if that was here in the U.S. paid for by your insurance or some shit.
Well, the company, BioAccelerator, is an American-based business out of Arizona, but all their facilities are in Medellin, Colombia.
Because they can only perform over there.
Exactly. You
Huh.
know, and everything is way less expensive for them over there,
Right.
so they can still charge American prices. You
That's
know,
insane. And people are going over there like, I mean, if every fighter's going, I mean, why not?
you know a little bit about UFC and the fighters. You know Matt Hughes.
Okay.
So Matt Hughes got hit in his pickup truck by a train. He got T-boned, and it severed his spinal cord from his brain. And he was pretty much what we like to call like a vegetable, right? Well, he's done, half a dozen stem cell therapies. He's walking, he's talking again, he's back in the gym. He's not going to be fighting or nothing like that.
But he's getting to be normal.
He's got speech impediment still, but yeah, dude, his spinal cord was severed, you know?
That's insane.
I met a dude physically that fell 200 or 150 feet from the power line cords or something like that, became a quadriplegic, and five therapies later, now he's a paraplegic.
Wow.
And he says give him a couple more treatments and he's going to be able to walk again.
That's insane, dude. That is so why isn't that being broadly, mentioned? I mean, but why can't we find a way to you know what I'm saying? Why can't we find a way to make that work?
It's money, it's politics, man. Like I told you, man, I haven't seen a doctor in 11 months.
Are they public? Like, is there?
No, you can go on Facebook and
no, like that organization that you're talking about. Are they a publicly owned traded company or is it privately owned?
It's not publicly traded.
So they're not on the market to invest in them or nothing.
You know, it's
shit. Where can I put some money into
that
place, bro?
Really, I mean, and they're not the only organization. You know, I mentioned I have another Marine Corps buddy who does podcasts, and he ended up for one of his deployments, he got his second anthrax shot, but it was a bad lot. And he ended up getting lupus, and his hair started falling out and the whole shebang, dude. And this guy, the doctors were trying to tell him you got to take A, B, and C, and he said, "Fuck all that, man. I'm doing Cambo." With the poisonous frog. Like the burning the dots.
Where you drink a bunch of water.
Yeah.
First.
You can, yeah.
So the dude that I had on here, he was telling me about that, where I think you drink like a liter of water or something.
Yeah,
first.
I didn't drink no liter. I mean, I drank, just hydrate,
Okay.
But
he was saying that the water absorbs through your body the toxins,
right.
and then you throw that water up.
I didn't throw up.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is because I was 6 months already on an organic diet, so I have very little toxins in my body.
Okay.
I could definitely feel it. I got the 3 little dots right here. I did it because I wanted to detox my body, getting ready for an ayahuasca ceremony in Peru. Because now I got done fixing my physical body, but I still needed mental clarity. I needed to fix my mental state of mind.
Okay.
And the way that I did that was with nature, man, and plant
Right.
medicine, you know. And there's a terrific organization out there for veterans called Heroic Hearts Project. They sponsored everybody in my cohort, including myself, to go down to Peru for a week, dive down into the jungle with the indigenous Chipivo people.
Dude, that's bucket list for me.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I can't. It helped transform my life so much and got me so much clarity. And you know, and now actually the organization is sponsoring me to become an addiction and psychedelic integration coach.
Wow.
Because it's so important to integrate afterwards, after you go through these experiences, because you change and transform in your mind and in your body as a person, but the world around you is still the same.
Right.
You know, so people sometimes have a rough time, including myself. I had a rough time integrating back into society and just with this new profound mindset. And so since I've seen like how it affected me, I want to give back to my community. And so I reached out to Heroic Hearts and said, can you guys sponsor me to put me through this program which is called Being True to You. And currently I'm about 60% done with the course. And once I get my certification, I'm coming back out here to the community just to provide pro bono work for our vets and for the people that need help in our community. You know, I seen your live podcast. You know, I listened a little bit about the integrational part. You know, natural plant medicine is becoming a very big industry nowadays, right?
Right.
Like everybody's talking about it and everybody's microdosing this and that. And
It's still kind of like taboo in a way, though. You can't really. I can't openly talk to people about microdosing because they're
there's
like
more
mushrooms.
exposure to it now than there has
big
ever
time.
been before.
Yeah. Even the government is doing trials, you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, VA is trying to see if that's going to help, which it helps.
Yeah.
It changed me. Just the microdosing part alone helped me.
Right.
It's crazy how, you know, clear things was, and I wasn't in my head every day. That was the cool thing I loved about it. It was I woke up not inside here.
Yeah.
Listening to myself. I woke up talking to myself.
Right. There's you know, obviously there's lots of plant medicines out there, and there's a lot of different organizations out there. The thing that hurts me the most is seeing these organizations that want to benefit and profit from making us better. Right. And they're using nature to do this. Like, so something that is free, something that comes out of the ground that nature provides for us, now we're charging $500 or $5,000, you know, so we can help you. Like, can you put a tag on your wellness? No, you shouldn't be able to put a price tag on that. But at the same time, it's very conflicting for me to see that some people, they're just in it for the money. You know, like I'm doing this not for the money. I'm doing this to bring my community back together and help the people that need help.
Well, it saved your life, changed you. I mean, it completely turned you from where you were to who you are now, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, and there's, I like to tell people that it's like your life is like a puzzle, right? Like a 10,000 piece puzzle. Like you can't put that puzzle together in one day. Like it's going to take you your whole life to like turn every single piece to where it fits properly. And then once you finally get all the pieces put together, that's when you get to see the overall beautiful picture of your life.
Right.
And so, you know, that's why I wanted to touch up on, you know, the nutritional aspect, you know, the taking the matters into your own hands, you know, going through these addictions and these problems and knowing that, you know, I've been brainwashed most of my, if not all my life, you know, and several times, you know, from early on by, you know, watching TV and then later on with cell phones and the internet to the music that I listen to, you know, the military, you know, like it's put a lot of layers on me to kind of like hide who I really am. And I think it counts for a lot of people in our community. Like if you were to pull all these layers back, man, we're all like true, loving, genuine people from the inside.
Right.
You know, we just been masked with so many different things. And that's why I want to bring exposure to. You know, I want to, you know, I go on my Instagram once in a while and I'll post, you know, some advice once in a while, you know, like when's the last time you sat in a room for 5 minutes with no distractions, turn your phone off and just breathe.
Right.
Just breathe. Just be in your own head for 5 minutes,
right.
man. Do that once, twice, 3 times a week.
Well, the phone, a lot of people don't realize is an addiction.
Oh, big time.
And they don't realize that they don't even realize the phone's in their hand.
Right.
They're not even thinking like, oh, fuck, I've had my phone in here. I've been on TikTok for the last hour and a half, literally not doing fucking shit, but just watching other people do whatever they're doing in their life. And I think that's the problem is people don't realize that they have an addiction.
Yeah.
that they have something wrong with them. Like I see people on Instagram, oh, I'm done with social media. I'm going to take a break, guys. You know, I'm blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I look at the time and I'm like, you'll be back.
Yeah.
And 4 hours later, it's like a meme post or something, bro. Like, dude, like, take a break if you need it. Like, don't feel like people feel like they're going to miss out on something. And I think that, like, for us, when you leave home, right, and if you get stationed somewhere, you deploy, whatever you do, when you leave home and you come back, everyone's still doing the same shit.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter how long you're gone. Everyone's still doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
You're not missing out on anything. And people feel that, I feel that instead of working on themselves, they get to vicariously live through other people through this little thing on a cell phone. So now they don't have to take care of their problems that are still there next to them. They just get to live through other people. Oh, that's a nice yacht. Let me look at this. Oh, man, I feel like I'm there with you. Yeah. Let me get a fucking beer.
Well, it's all designed with algorithms and stuff, right? Like, it's all designed to, like, hey, if you like something, they're collecting all this data on you
they show you more.
Yeah, and to keep you glued to that phone. But like, if you are conscious of that and you can tell yourself, like, hey, man, this is sucking me in. Like, it still sucks me in too, but I'm well aware of that, and I think it's just another layer that society has put on us. Like, if you took that 2 hours where you're skimming through that TikTok, and you took that 2 hours and just researched, hey, how can I fix my mental health? You know, what plants are good for me? What's good for my body? What's not good for my body? If you were to do that, then this place would be such a better and healthier planet. But that doesn't make no money.
Right.
So we got to distract you in any which way, like I said, with the social media and movies and music and like back to that puzzle analogy, like there's so many things that I had to change in my life to become the person that I am today. And it goes from like changing up my music, to going out more into nature, to changing up my group of friends, just change up so many, the food that I put in my body, the medicine that I take, everything didn't just come overnight. I've been working on this for a couple of years now, and I feel like I'm still an amateur. I did 40 years of damage to my body.
Right.
Like, it takes me another 40 years to get back to ground zero.
Right.
But in the meantime, like, I can bring exposure to all these things that we just talked about with other people. And I'm not trying to change anybody, but I'm just trying to plant seeds everywhere, man. Like, if you just go out in the neighborhood and just throw handfuls of seeds, they're not all going to develop, but there's a few of them that are going to sprout up,
right.
And if I can be a contributing factor to somebody's wellness and I'm in my community, then I'm all about it.
Well, you're proof that it's possible.
Oh yeah, I'm living proof. I usually tell people, like, I'm the guinea pig, right? I'll test everything on myself, and if I know it works, I'm going to give you a call.
You could be on stage right now and say, listen, it fucks you up. You don't have to go do it. Trust me, the pills, it fucks you up. So just look at me. And that's the bad part, though. Is people don't listen. They got to try it for themselves.
Yeah, of course.
And that's the fucked up part. And you don't change until you reach that rock bottom.
Yeah.
Because until there's a problem, there isn't a problem.
Yeah. Well, I always say it like this, man. You can lead a horse to water, you just can't make him drink.
Right.
And that's all I do, man. Like, that's the reason I'm becoming an addiction and psychedelic integration coach. I'm not guiding anybody. I'm not, counseling anybody. Like, I'll be there by your side, coaching you, like, and giving you my experience and letting you know what has worked and how and why, and then it's up to you to do the work yourself. There's many organizations that I deal with here in Southern California, and everybody's welcome, right, from veteran to non-veteran. But we can show you what we do, but we're not going to do the work for you. We're not going to hold you accountable. We're not going to call you at 6 o'clock in the morning. Hey, you're going to be there for this hike at 7 o'clock. Like, no, like, if you want to do the work, then you will show up. We'll coach you, your way through it. We'll be there by your side, but you got to show us that you want to make a change.
Describe what was your experience in Peru? What was that like?
Oh man, it was so magical. Once again, you got to be on the diet, for it, which was easier for me because I just got out of my stem cell diet. So going on to the ayahuasca diet was pretty simple.
How long after you had your stem cells did you go?
I think about 4 or 5 months afterwards.
Oh shit! So this was same year.
Yeah. I just got back from Peru in July.
This year,
yeah.
Oh fuck! This is all just recent.
Oh man.
Oh
shit.
Recent. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, man, it was great, man. Like, we got there, I met all the other 8 other veterans. The first day was like an integration day, kind of meet the maestros and meet the facilitators to run the facility, which was only 2 people, and then you meet the cook and you meet like the yoga lady, and that's about it. And then you kind of just linger around the first day. The maestros from the Chapivo tribe, they give you like a flower bath, so you just sit there and they make this flower bath for you, and they wash you down. And then you eat breakfast and lunch every day, and you take a flower bath in the afternoon, and then about 6 o'clock at night you do an hour worth of yoga to kind of get your body to limber up and to get your nerves to kind of settle down. And then as soon as it's nighttime, the maestros come in with their medicine, and they bless the medicine. They administer the medicine, and then all lights go out, and then you're in your journey for about 5 or 6 hours. There's no talking. The 2 maestros, a male and a female, they're singing the Icaros songs. So it's you can't even duplicate it if you wanted to. These guys have been practicing and doing this since they were like 7 or 8 years old,
right?
And they're like in their 30s, 40s. So they're doing ceremonies every single week, and they're doing 3-4 days of ceremony in a row every week. So they're super headstrong, and you go do 3 ceremonies in a row, and then on Friday, you do your integration day, kind of like talk about, hey, we're going back to society and that sort of thing. And then you depart on Saturday. Well, I didn't want to depart Peru. I wanted to stick around, and I wanted to integrate within Peru and not back in California. So I took an extra 10 days and threw my backpack on, man, and just traveled to Peru. Went to go see the Rainbow Mountains and the Machu Picchu.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it was prolific. It was awesome, man. It's exactly what I needed at that time. And then when I got back to the States, I started with this whole journey of wanting to become an integration coach. And so my time in Peru was just so magical and so mystical, man. You're in the middle of the jungle in Tarapoto, Peru, and there's no cell phone reception. Yeah, right? Like no cell phone, no digital distractions, you just become one with nature.
Could you document any of, like, do they allow like videography or anything?
Yeah, you could, but they also say like, hey, on Friday, your last day, like turn your phone back on, and you take pictures. You take pictures with everybody, and you kind of just go around, and like I did, I documented everything. You can go Amsterdam Man on Instagram is my handle, and you can see some of my pictures that I posted from being out there, and
I'm about to check that out. Yeah,
it was amazing, man. It's definitely something I needed at that time. There was a couple of veterans there that had tried ayahuasca in the States before, and I'd asked like one like in a backyard in Seattle or something, and another one in an apartment in New York. And I said, what's the difference? Like, is there a big, huge difference? And they said night and day difference,
Oh, sure. With being that element and that whole.
Okay, well, you're there where it comes from, and
Man.
you're back in nature. You're back in the middle of the jungle. Like the only thing you hear is the crickets and the wildlife.
That's what I'm saying. The whole element itself, I think, would change you being out there. And then all of a sudden you get administered this medicine that, well, so you get the medicine. Describe what happens.
Oh man, so you take the medicine. To me, it kind of tasted like a grittish black licorice goo.
God!
Which I'm Dutch and we love black licorice.
Do you really?
Yeah,
I can't stand that shit.
It wasn't bad for me.
I got
at
jelly
all.
bellies in the house I can give you.
But yeah, you take the shot, and then
so it's a small.
Yeah, like a shot glass.
Okay.
They say you can take one shot, and then 45 minutes later, they'll open up the round again just to see if you need to take another shot, or a half a shot.
Are they looking to see if you're feeling something, or
it's
what?
all up to you.
Oh, just like if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
yeah.
that.
So if you feel like, hey, nothing's really happening to me in these last 45 minutes, I'm going to take another shot.
Oh, shit. Did you take another one?
No.
Okay.
My philosophy is slow and low.
Okay.
You can always add more, but you can never take off.
Right.
So I took the shot, and then you go back. You have a little cot, a puke bucket, an ashtray, and a red flashlight, and then and that's it. And you sit in this round room. It's called the Maloka, and you sit there. You take a shot. You go lay. You have a little blanket, and then you just kind of sit there and just wait for things to happen. But you need to go into these ceremonies with the right mentality. You got to have the right intentions. You gotta nothing is gonna go the way that you want it to go. You
Right.
know, like I went there and I wanted direction and clarity in my life, and I
Okay.
got none of those answers. I got to see everything else but that. You
Gotcha.
know, and so after about an hour or so, once you're ready to give into the medicine and let it do its thing, you are gonna go through some mental changes that you've never been exposed to before, right? It's like
Does shit come back to you? Like, are you reliving shit again or what?
I would more say it like this. In the beginning, me personally, I felt like my soul, my spirit, my energy was getting separated from my body.
Oh wow.
And my body was going through a wormhole into outer space. You know, you watch Star Trek when they do the
Yeah.
hyperdrives and
Right.
stuff.
The
Like I
lights
felt
fucking-
that's what I felt like. And when
Oh,
you're in that
shit.
wormhole, my body actually is flopping around like uncontrollably, and you're seeing things flying by and it makes no sense, right? And you're just like, whoa, what the hell is happening? What's happening? What's happening? And then you feel like you're in the multiverse, in the universe. And then you start getting the visions. And in the meantime, the maestros are singing. And so when they get to your
And
foot,
you can hear this the whole
yeah,
time?
you can hear it.
Oh,
In the
shit.
20-foot tall ceilings, you know, in a point, so it's very acoustic. And when they say when the maestros gets to your foot end of the bed, you're supposed to sit up and face them. And so it's so dark you can't even see nothing. But I felt something inside of me after about an hour, like pulling me up, like, dude, you need to sit the fuck up. And I sat up, and there's a maestro sitting right there in front of me.
What?
And he just starts singing, and in my mind I'm thinking to, you know, like, what do you want, you know, like, and I'm yawning and I'm hissing at him, and like in my mind I'm fighting him, like, come on fucker, like you're not gonna win. And he just keeps singing and singing and singing. And if I wanted to now translate it, I felt like he was pulling the demons out of me.
I was say, was that the demon telling you like, don't go with this, don't like, no?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
And so they kind of say it's like pulling the serpents out of you, right?
Right.
And then they got this perfume stuff that they mix their own plants in, and he takes a big swig of it and he spits it in your face. And when that happens, you're like, whoa, because in my interpretation, it's like he just pulled the bad out of you, and now he's got to seal your soul. And so he seals it with this stuff, and he spits it 3 times on you. And then he moves on to the next person. You lay down, and then you start getting all these visions, man. Like your unconscious becomes conscious, and like
shit.
everything that you really never wanted to deal with, you know, when you're awake, like you're dealing with it now. You're seeing things. You're hearing things. It's like being awake and you're dreaming at the same time.
Like watching them do surgery on you at the same, but you're not feeling the pain.
Yeah, exactly. Like seeing it from the outside.
That would trip me out.
And then maybe 2 hours later, the opposite end maestro comes in front of you. And once again, I felt like that need to sit up. Felt like a hand was inside of me just reaching my shirt or reaching my soul and like, sit up.
And it's pitch black.
Oh, pitch black. Like, can't see shit. No candles, no lights.
You can just hear it.
You can just hear stuff.
Oh, that would trip me the fuck out.
And then she was singing towards me, but at this time it was different, man. It was like I was at the best concert in my life. She was filling me with love and joy and energy, and it was like I could almost like grab it out of the sky and just put it in me. And you know, about 20 minutes later, she drinks, you know, some of that stuff and spits it on you and kind of seal yourself with all that stuff.
With
all the goodness, yeah. Man. And they kind of specialize their singing towards each individual. And that's why the first day is kind of important, like the meet and greet, you know, kind of get a taste of what this person's about. And then once they move along, then you lay back down, and then you're going through that flopping emotion again, because now like your spirit is coming back through that wormhole back into your body. And then boom, just like that, then you're back. And yeah, you still have like a little bit of hallucinogenic effects where, like, you know, the ground's moving or shadows are moving a little bit.
Right.
But you're 100% back into your mind. And then once they're done, they go back to the middle of the room. They smoke some mapacho, some tobacco to keep the evil spirits away. And they go to sleep for about 45 minutes. They get up, they walk out, and then one of the facilitators will get up and say in a low, calm voice, "Hey, ceremony's over. You can stay here or go back to your room or go back to the screen room." And usually we go back to the screen room and start drinking some tea. And one of the facilitators, Jude Lane on Spotify, starts playing his ukulele, man. And, you know, it's like real music, like Bob Marley music, like made from the heart, you know, like his own music. And it tops off the night, man. And Jude Lane is such an amazing individual. He's an Australian facilitator that does work in Peru, and you do that 3 nights in a row. And
you take the shots and go through that whole process 3 fucking times?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I thought this was just a one-time thing.
No, man. No.
Oh, my God,
so
bro.
After the first night, you're like, what the hell happened? Like, I don't need to do ceremony number 2 and 3.
Yo, for real.
No, this is a lot.
You sealed me.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
But then the next day when you wake up, you're like, oh, man, I can't wait for second ceremony, man.
Really?
Like, let's get it done, And
Did you throw up and the whole?
Nah.
You didn't see the videos I've seen is like violently throwing up. Like,
well, there's people like that, man, and like sometimes not in our group, but people shit themselves, people throw up. It's called a way of purging, right?
Okay.
And my way of purging is yawning. I can yawn so deep where like my jaw is popping and I feel like my skull is getting split in half.
no shit.
Some people laugh. So like I just did a really big psilocybin ceremony with my church, the Church of the People for Creator and Mother Earth in La Jolla, and like I seen somebody turn into a dog, on Friday, and he was barking and growling for 3 or 4 hours, right? So like
You didn't see him. He actually
was
turned into a dog.
No,
okay, so I was like, wait, so
no.
you didn't?
No, like he was doing that.
So he was doing it.
So that was his way of purging.
Gotcha.
Right? He wasn't throwing up. He wasn't shitting himself. He was acting like a dog, man. He was barking.
Wow.
So everybody has their own individual way of purging. And I think because of the way that I eat nowadays and how clean that I eat and mostly pretty much 90% organic food.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
From my meat to my eggs to everything is organic, man.
Oh,
and it
shit.
cost me a fucking arm and a leg, man. I spend this week, I probably spend $700 on food. But I'd rather much spend it now than having to spend it later on because I feel great, man, and my body can feel it, my mind can feel it.
So why is it more expensive to eat healthy, but it's so much easier to eat like shit?
Oh man, because once you eat healthy, once again you're fixing yourself, and that makes nobody no money.
That's what I'm saying. Why is it more expensive? It should be readily available to every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah, I agree.
That if you're eating this, you can eat this at the same price. It's the healthy alternative. And just cook this meat instead of this meat.
Well, I just feel like the system doesn't want them. They don't want us healthy, mentally or physically.
Because obesity is such a huge thing in America, where they go on programs and surgeries, and insurances cover all the lap band and everything else now. So, what reason do you have to?
Like, come on. I mean, if you're McDonald's, right? Like, do you really want to have an organic burger? Do you really want to have, like nowadays people or companies are starting to switch because they see that so many people are actually want the healthy
burger
stuff. Yeah. So, man, go to Costco, man. Half their products nowadays are organic, certified USDA organic.
Right.
They never carried shit before. But they know they're losing a big audience, so they better start jumping on that wagon.
Because there's so many people jumping over to the organic side of things.
And that's the same thing is happening in the psychedelic realm or the psychedelic industry, right? It's like, that's why I believe a lot of these things are becoming decriminalized now and they're becoming available for studies and that sort of thing. It was the same thing happened with marijuana, right? Marijuana was such a good agricultural crop back in the day, and it could fix so many things, right? Like
the Declaration of Independence is written on hemp
man,
paper.
yeah, dude. Everything was made out of that.
They paid
right?
farmers to grow hemp back then. People don't realize this. Like the government paid farmers to grow weed.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it all got taken away, man, because it was thriving so well. And,
right.
And same thing with psychedelic plant medicine. Same thing with organic food. Like, I had that wake up moment about 2-3 years ago when I opened up my cabinet, or my where I have all my food, and I looked at everything and I said, there's not one thing in here that's natural. Everything is in a box or a can. Everything has a label on it with half the ingredients I don't even know how to pronounce.
Yeah, you don't want to look at my cupboard, bro. It's
right?
It's bad.
And so, now that I switched over, like I feel so much clearer. I can think so much better. My body's acting so much better, right?
Right.
And so, that's why I think one of the main reasons that I didn't purge and I didn't throw up when I did the Cambo. I didn't do it when, I did the ayahuasca. When I took, 15 grams of mushrooms, I didn't throw up. Like, none of that happened.
Because you have no toxicity in your body. I mean,
very little.
Very little. I mean,
very little.
Yeah. Compared to me, I would do my meal at McDonald's is the 2 cheeseburger combo, large fry, large Coke, and then I get a 10-piece nugget.
Right.
I'm fucking that up. Right.
So how do you feel the next day, or how do you feel an hour later?
I feel great.
Yeah, you never really you feel bloated, or you never feel like, oh man, I'm kind of stiff.
No, because I don't know what it's like to not
Right. You're so adapted.
I'm so adapted to it. I don't know what normal is. I'm so used to this. I'm not. I don't know what healthy is. I don't know what. I mean, I would love to eat healthy, and I think that one of the biggest problems is people don't know where to start, what to buy, what to make, how to make it, how to cook, what to cook with. When you're so used to, my wife's Mexican, like we fry fucking everything. Like it's throw some oil in a pan and we're cooking that shit, bro. And so it's like you have to relearn, or like my father-in-law, he's got diabetes, so he's got to change his diet up, and he's having such a hard time with it. Yeah. Because he's traditional, like, yo, give me some tacos, give me some enchiladas, give me, give me all this great tasting stuff. And he doesn't know how to cook or eat with, less salt or no salt or, this and that.
Well, what's happening too nowadays is that there's so much information out there. You don't even know what's true and what's not true.
That's the thing too, is who do you listen to? Because one person says this person says this, and it's like, well, fuck, like.
And there's so many tricks in marketing, right? Like I've learned from this in school, and like that's why like certain things are displayed in a certain order. And one really piece of good advice that you can follow when you go grocery shopping: stay in the outside lanes.
Okay.
Right, that's where all the produce is. That's where all the healthy stuff is. When you start dipping it, when you go into the middle of the store, that's where all your box stuff is. Right, but like labels can be so confusing, right? Like nowadays they say, oh, well, you should eat grass-fed meat, right? But then like if you really look into like what the definition of grass-fed and all this, people are thinking, oh, that's a cow that eat grass his whole life.
Right.
But no, for the industry to be able to put a grass-fed label on there, they only got to give him grass the last 2 months of his life.
Oh, really?
So we can pump it full of steroids and growth hormones and antibiotics his whole life for a year and a half, and then the last 2 months we'll just give him some grass.
Right, and the meat's already
it's already tainted, man.
Tainted, and I grew up on a dairy, so we had beef cows and we had milk cows.
Right,
and the beef cows were from babies, hand fed grains. I mean, they were separated. The milk cows got fed shit. And it didn't matter. It was just milk.
But where do you think all these chemicals go? It goes straight into the milk, man. And that goes into our cheese, our yogurt, our dairy products, So, you really have to watch out what you buy, right? And so once you get more educated on this stuff and you start just making small implements in your life, then it becomes a lifestyle eventually. Like I used to say, I'm on a plan for a diet. Nah, man, like I'm on a healthy lifestyle. That's what I call it now.
Right.
And sometimes I use the mentality as we used to be gatherers, right? Before we had stores and, we were caveman walking around with clubs and stuff. Like we used to be gatherers. And so, like we didn't always find meat every single day. Like, sometimes we find nuts and then fruits and then veggies. And so like, I just kind of had that in my mentality, like, hey, I don't like everything that I eat and drink, man. Like kombucha tastes like shit, man. But you know what? It's so good for your body, man. It's filled with probiotics, and it's better than a Coca-Cola, right? So,
but everything's delivered now.
Oh yeah,
you have DoorDash, Uber Eats. I mean, you can literally from your phone not leave your fucking couch, and have everything. So how do you compete with that and say?
Well, you gotta open up your mind and open up your eyes. Why is this so convenient? So I can stay on the couch, so I can get fatter and unhealthier, and like let's go back to our roots, man. Like this last ceremony I did on Friday, like one of the biggest things that came to me was like, go back to your roots. Like remember the day when you didn't have a cell phone. Remember the day when there, like McDonald's wasn't on every corner and a Starbucks. Right. Like I grew up just playing outside, man. I grew up with like normal food, like we ate, a piece of chicken with potatoes and carrots or something like that. Like how often you see a meal like that anymore? You know, it's like we're going to BJ's, we're gonna get that big old sloshy pizza, we're gonna get some DoorDash. We're going to do whatever, like microwavable meals. Like, it's all junk, man.
And that's how I was raised, was the microwave. Yeah. It was the Salisbury steaks, dude. I mean, even still to this day, though, I'll go smoke. Like, I'll get the 6-pack, and I'm like, bro, I'm about to kill these Salisburys.
All right.
But that's just because of, it brings back a memory.
Of course.
And that's why I say it's so hard to get out of that and transition. And it's just like New Year's resolutions are coming up again, right?
Yeah.
How many times have people in the last 5 years said the same fucking thing every year? Yeah. And then January 1st comes and not realizing the gym is a lifestyle.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can't just say, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lose. It's a lifestyle. It literally, otherwise you just walk around your block.
Man, I was a personal trainer for years, man, at 24-Hour Fitness.
I was at LA Fitness in Temecula, training manager.
And so, personal training or going to the gym and working out, that's only 10% of the battle, man. It's,
Right.
Usually it's your lifestyle and what you put into your body. So I felt like my comfortable weight was always at 6 foot, like being 200, 205, somewhere around there. Man, once I started eating all this clean stuff for my stem cells and, for my stem cell lifestyle diet, whatever you want to call it, by the time I got back from Peru, I was 165 pounds.
God damn.
And so like
What are you now?
I'm hoping I'm like 175. Like
Okay.
I've been cheating a little bit to put a little bit of meat back onto my bones, man. So eating a little bit more often because a lot of people were telling me like, hey, you're looking pretty frail.
160s.
Yeah.
I was 6 foot 145 when I graduated boot camp.
Right,
So that's,
right.
I mean, you talk about like
Yeah.
no meat at all. So I couldn't.
Yeah.
160.
165 was a little bit too
Yeah.
little for me. So like I said, I've been not cheating, but just eating a little bit extra, and throwing a little bit more meat into my diet. But like coming from a bodybuilder mentality, man, like I used to be, 225 solid.
Stack.
Man,
stack.
4%, 4 or 5% body fat, man.
Right.
At 225, man, I was a meathead,
Right.
I had a big lifted truck and lived the California lifestyle, and then, so now like looking at me and man, I drive a little shitty Honda Accord and I weigh 165, right? Like completely opposite of what I used to be. But you know what? I feel so much better. I'm so much healthier, I think I just really got caught up in society back in the day of being somebody that wasn't me, being somebody that society wanted me to be, and being able to change that and change your mentality has been such a refreshing thing to be able to be in control of my own life again, being in control of my own decisions and just feeling good every day, I used to wake up just negative thoughts. Yesterday was a shit day, so today is going to be a shit day,
Right.
and I move on every day like that. Now I wake up and I'm like, man, yesterday was a great day and today is going to be even a better day.
Right.
Right. And so like changing your mentality, man, it's such a big one, and we have to do it in so many different ways, in so many different areas of our life. It's a lot of work, man. But, if you can see the overall goal, ahead of yourself or what you want to be or who you want to be, then, you can do anything you put your mind to, like just like you wanted to join the military, there's certain standards, right? You completed all those standards so you could sign up.
Took me 3 times.
Man, but
I got denied MEPS twice.
All right.
Yeah. Only because I had pimples on my shoulders. I had bad acne as a kid. Bad acne.
Yeah.
And I got denied but like you said, it was if that's something that you want, you push through and you find a way to do it. And I think and that's one of the big things I think the Marine Corps taught me. I don't know if you as well, is like anything's possible. Like there is no, I mean, if you want to get through a wall, you blow it up. Like it's, if you want to go over here, there's ways to make shit happen. It's just you got to figure it out and make it happen.
Yeah. And I think also the big thing is especially for the veteran community, and I know definitely in the Marine Corps community, we are too prideful to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I think men in general. I don't even think it's,
definitely. Yeah. It kind of hurts your ego a little bit, You don't want to look vulnerable like you need to ask for help.
Right.
And I had a hard time with that my whole life. And finally I changed it about myself and started reaching out for help. And then I got help from the most unexpected place and the most unexpected people that I ever thought were going to help me. And it feels great, man, because it just brings a sort of a bond,
Right.
Where you can rely on one another, and that's how we should get through life, is with community that builds and supports each other. Our world is just breaking each other down nowadays. It's like, I wanna be bigger, faster, stronger, and richer, and
Right.
more shinier than you.
right.
Like, how about we change that mentality and just say, hey, like, how about we're both that way? Like, how about we support each other? Like, but no, it's being taught to us that like, hey, I got to destroy you so I can be on top.
It's just natural human, I think, when they see someone. I just had this talk with a family back east where when people see you doing good or you bought something, let's just say I bought this trailer, my neighbor could look out and go, oh, look at this guy.
Right.
This is where my boat was parked before.
Right,
So
yeah,
when I
okay.
sold my boat and I get a trailer, oh, look at this guy. They thinks, instead of me going, oh man, hey, isn't that cool? They were able to buy a trailer. Right on. Good for them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it's just still night and day difference. It's like, why can't you just look at it as a positive, like, hey, good for you guys?
Yeah.
Instead, they're like, oh, fucking, snooty, or, they think, oh, he thinks he's too good, or, I just don't understand why we have to compare ourselves to everybody else.
Well, and I try to work that problem. Like in my head, I try to work that problem, right? Like, why is he thinking that way? What caused him to have that type of mentality where he's not supportive, but he's actually the opposite? Like,
probably didn't have shit growing up as a kid, or, watched because that's how I was.
Yeah.
Watched all my friends on birthday parties or Christmas get all this cool shit, and here I am like, the fuck did I get? Like, I mean, I was happy I got some, don't get me wrong, but when you see people getting like, back then it was Micro Machines that was huge for me.
Yeah.
And I see that big aircraft carrier Micro Machine that my boy just got, and I'm like, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Goddamn. What piece of advice would you give somebody listening right now who is battling an addiction and wanting to change but not knowing where to start? What's their first step? They've already realized that they have a problem, they want to change.
Yeah. It's funny that you asked me this. I'm talking to a friend right now, a female, who I haven't spoken to in 10, 12 years or so. She's actually just opened up to me about her addiction, and I'm one of the only people that, besides her mother, that knows. The biggest step for her was to be able to open up and start talking about it. And I instilled such a level of comfort and trust with her where I'm not judgmental and I don't tell her what to do or what she should do. I'm just here listening to her, and if she asks me for advice, I'll give it to her. And so the biggest step that I can see in the most advice right now that I can, tell the listeners is start talking about it. Be open, bury that ego and just admit that you have an issue. And the more you talk about it, the more comfortable you'll get into that skin, and the more help will come your way. Because if you don't talk about it, then nobody's gonna know.
Well, what if someone says right now, I have no one to talk to?
You got me, Amsterdam Man, on Instagram.
And I'm here.
Call me.
I'm here as well. I'm here, but most, like, if they don't know you, it's hard for them to. So that's what I'm saying. How would someone that they want to open up, but they don't want to give that ammunition to somebody to be able to fire back, or what do they do in that situation? Yeah,
so that's a difficult one, right? Because you don't want to expose yourself to your family.
Right.
You don't want them to judge you. You go to the VA, you're not going to get much help either. So, try to find like-minded individuals, somebody that you can relate with, somebody that you can trust, right? I had to start changing a lot of my friends around. So I dumped a whole lot of my friends, made a whole new set of friends, and then I was able to really talk to these people, right? Because they didn't really know me from shit. So, there's no judgment, there's no biased opinion. So it's just like I was able to talk. And, there's in the veteran community, there's VWAT. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but there's Veterans Walk and Talk.
Right.
We meet up once, twice a month, and we go hike and we just talk. And like being able to talk to a stranger that's also a veteran, so once again, like-minded individuals, right? Like, I don't have to explain my story, and they can relate to what I'm telling them, and vice versa.
Right.
So finding the community that you can bury yourself in and relate with other people, I think that's a very good first step. So, like, let's talk about the non-veteran community, So if you just have somebody out there, he's an introvert, doesn't want to talk to his family, like, there's hotlines out there,
Right.
It's going to take a little bit of research on the individual's part, to find out what, where, and how he can ask for help. But, I mean, Google is a great search engine, It's, you go on Google, hey, I need to talk about A, B, and C, and you're going to get several hotlines that come up. But once again, you got to be real careful about what you say, because, there's rules and regulations put into place that if you say something that you really didn't mean,
someone's knocking at your door.
Yeah, and you can fuck yourself up. So, talk
72-hour hold.
Yeah, 5150, so talk to somebody that you can trust. Talk to somebody that's been through that cycle already.
Gotcha.
Because like I said earlier, I'm a guinea pig, right? So if you need some advice about what to say or what not to say or where to go, like reach out to me, or reach out to your friend that's gone through this. Or if you don't have no friends, man, social media is definitely the devil, but it can also be a good tool, and that's what I use my social media for, is to make positive changes. Like, do I skim through videos and other shit? Yeah, but with a different intention, not just to keep occupied and be entertained.
Right.
I'm
You're
looking
searching for knowledge. And,
man. Like, how do you think I found you?
How did you find me?
Man, like I'm a huge advocate, like I mentioned before, for veterans. I used to like to help veterans get off the street and get them into finances and benefits and that sort of thing. But then I started thinking, like, we really need to work also on the mental capacity of veterans.
Right.
And that's by going out to nature, going out and getting outside of your house, right? And I think you still do. You take veterans out on fishing trips.
Just did a trip, Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah, man. So, that, like, I somehow stumbled upon your page, and, I seen what you were doing, and I thought, man, that's great, man. Like, I want to be part of that. And,
hell yeah.
I reached out one time and the boat was full, and your communication was within a reasonable time frame. And so I was like, okay, this guy actually cares, because another thing I like to do is expose organizations that, carry that patriotic flag and, we're here to help veterans in America.
Right.
But all they do is really stick that money in their pocket.
And they're a nonprofit and they get mad. See, I'm not a nonprofit. I'm a small business. I pay taxes on donated. Last year I got hit hard. I got fucking hit hard. This year I kind of took a break. I think I've only done like 5 trips. But it's all donated money, and 100% of what I make off Instagram, because we're monetized. Yeah, I get paid by the reels or subscription. Live videos, we get badges and shit.
Right.
Anything that I make goes towards doing something.
Yeah.
My life is paid for. I got my retirement. I got the 100%.
Yeah.
My wife works.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So this extra money is for me, and people don't realize, like, this is my therapy. Sitting here talking to you, meeting you, listening to your story. Now I can, as I go through my journey, I can reflect off of what you've told me that has helped you. And I can either say, hey, I remember a guy who's gone through the similar situation that I personally know. He's tried this. Either try this or reach out to him, and he can give you some fucking one-on-one. Like, this dude knows. So that's, to me, the whole journey thing is just awesome. And I think this is a beginning for us opening up. Yeah. And I'm not just saying with my show. I'm just saying in general and in public wise, because if you look at the suicide rate for men compared to women, it's ridiculous.
Right.
I don't know numbers. I think it's 1 every 14 minutes a man commits suicide.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, too many.
And so if we're able to talk about it, but not make it like a sad, sappy, like Sarah McLachlan music playing in the background and shit. Like, I don't want my page to go to that route where it's just like all nothing but sadness. And that's why I do the funny videos, or try to do funny videos to kind of make you laugh at the same time. Like, hey, listen, like, we're all fucked up.
Yeah.
It's not a problem with it. Yeah, it's not a problem. Don't think you're a problem. Don't think you're a burden either. If you say, hey, because I think you'll be pleasantly or shockingly surprised that if you talk to somebody who you think would be such a rock, they would be able to tell you based off of experience, I've been there before. And you might be like, oh shit, like, you? Like, yeah, dude, I've been there. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, like, I would have never guessed. Like, well, yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
You ain't the only one.
And, and I want to give you some recognition for doing what you're doing, right? It seems like, you're slowly finding your calling. You went from fishing to now doing this. You're getting, people's words out there. You're picking up some knowledge from me, and vice versa. I watched your first podcast. What was his name? Jesse or
Jay?
Like I'm already following him. I'm going to be reaching out to that organization and seeing if there's anything I can do to help out.
Right.
So and people listening to this, they've heard me, drop a few lines of some other organizations, or they might reach out to you. Like, at least we're waking people up,
right.
and we're doing more than just sitting around, just twiddling our thumbs, and this is a great thing, man. I want to give you recognition for doing something amazing right here, because you're
reaching.
Thank you. Yeah, man, you're welcome. You're reaching out. You're making a positive impact into the community. You know what it's like to hurt, and so you just want to give back, and I feel. Me personally, like, I've done a lot of bad shit in my life, now it's time to do the opposite, and kind of do good things, you know, because that's who I am originally, deep down inside. Organically, I'm a good human being.
Right.
You know, it's just the layers of society and through life. I had to go through all these things to be the person that I am today.
Right.
You know, and just being able to get my word out there and using your platform and going out there and reaching out to people, it's a great thing, man. Like,
I appreciate that. Thank
you know,
you.
it's better than just only finding one at a time on the street, because that's kind of how I started. You know, I just started calling like just guys on my unit, and now I'm done with all the guys in my unit. You know, like, where do I go from here? So I started reaching out to DAVs, VFWs, and, you know, other non-for-profit organizations, but. You know, I like to get this movement started with a big group of people, and I've seen more and more people like coming together as a community. You know, just like you're doing, you're pulling people in, you're getting the word out there, and we're just planting seeds, like I said earlier, man. And you know, it will work for some, and for others, they just, you know, they just move on.
Right.
But at least we're making a positive impact in a couple different directions.
I hate how sometimes though it feels like no nonprofits share what I do. There's not one out there that's advocating for, you know, hey, to their veterans.
Yeah.
And I talked about this before to some people, and it just seems like there's a competition.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm not in competition with nobody. And that's what I love about mine is I don't ask for donations. So I'm not on the thrill of the hunt to get that 5,000. Oh shit, we got it. Okay, now let's go get that 10,000. Oh shit, we got the 10. Let's get the 50. I don't have that shark mentality of I need more money. Let's go get more money. I have that mentality of how many can I help and how many trips can I do? How many people can I put on those trips?
Right.
And let's get it going. Let's get a date.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's no competition. There's no like. That's why a lot of times I don't share other nonprofits,
Right.
because it's like you guys have known about me, and I'm doing trips. You didn't post that that last trip I just went on and had open spots. You didn't post that for me.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, then they'll come like, or I love when no one wants to help, but then they start a small business or they start something and they're like, hey, can you share this for me?
Yeah.
Fuck you,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
But-
or all of a sudden they start sharing this stuff.
I
because
just wish
they need something.
I wish we could all just, if you're a nonprofit, or if you're not there's not many not nonprofits that are doing this. Most are all 501c3s.
Right.
I wish we could all just get along.
I agree.
Don't think that if you post my stuff that one of your donors is going to see my stuff and come over and donate, because I can't give them a tax break.
Yeah.
So they're not coming over here.
Yeah.
You know, we operate on a micro budget.
Right.
Literally micro budget. And I'm not worried about the donations, because the way I work is if the money comes in and we have enough, then I post a trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, fucking it is what it is. Now I'm doing this. I'm gonna be mobile. I want to cruise around. I want to hear people's stories. I want to get the word out. Like, what did you do to help?
Yeah.
Just like what you told me today. Like, dude, that was awesome to hear how you went from $500 bottom of the barrel, like smoking fucking crack, to now you're advocating for not only veterans but people in general, just to get better and just listen to my story and let me just kind of help you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, and
Oh,
I wish more people would have the motivation and the gumption and the determination to want to change. But unfortunately, that's the problem, is people are so comfortable with shit, they don't know what it feels like to be normal again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a fucked up relationship. You know, you see a husband and wife been married for 30 years. They're both fucking angry. They never have sex, but they have equity in the house. And you know what I mean? It's like, fuck, man, make the change. You know, it doesn't matter your situation. It doesn't matter your comfortableness. It doesn't matter, you know, you're going to have to break out of your shell and you're going to have to feel uncomfortable before you can get back on track again. That's just a fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uncomfortable is good.
Oh yeah. You learn a lot from it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, and I always try to say too, it's you know, life is like a battery, right? It's got a negative terminal and it's got a positive terminal. And from my experience and many people around me, what I've noticed is we got to go through the negative terminal and drain all of that and see what we get out of it before we make that jump over to the positive side of the terminal.
Right.
And I've gone through so much negative shit in my life that now I feel like, hey, I finally made that transition over to the positive side of the terminal. You know, not saying that my life is always going to be positive. Like, you're still going to have some ups and downs. But I think I've done the majority of the bad negative side of the battery. I've gotten that behind me. You know, when I'm talking about going to war and having addiction and, you know, problems, money problems, like all these, you know, marital problems, you know, I've gone through all that, and I've learned so much from it, you know, that now I can jump onto the other side. And the other side is a much more beautiful side, man. It's a better feeling, you know, and like being able to share and rub that off on other people, you know, and hopefully get them to wake up before half their life is already over with, which is a great thing, man. Like when I see like-minded people like myself in their 20s, oh man, I'm all about it, man. I'm like, man, stick to this road, man, because you know you're gonna be so much more advanced when you get to my age,
right?
Man, you're already doing good things.
But it's so hard when you're young because you have to go through all the trials. You have to go through all the bullshit. You can't just listen to an old cat like me or you and say like, bro, listen to me, please. Just if you would fucking listen to me. You can still fuck around, but just do a couple things that I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, you're gonna set yourself up for life.
Yeah, I got 3 teenage boys, man, and they don't listen to a damn thing that I'm telling them.
Because you don't know shit.
Yeah,
you ain't been through nothing.
I'm just dad.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't know your story. Even if they did, they're like, it's just dad. You know.
And it bothered me for a while, right? I'm just like, why can't you guys just listen?
Right.
Just listen, you know. And somebody had told me, hey, man, like, did you listen at that age?
Nope.
Or did you have to go through some of your own, you know, struggles and to get to where you're going? And, you know, that's so right, man. And so, you know, like, all I can do is just, you know, keep talking like I have been, you know, and, like, keep planting those seeds, man. And they'll flourish, you know, but my kids going to have to go through their own things. And they have been, man. And this generation of youth, man, oh, my God, dude. It's horrible. It's so crazy. I thought I was a wild child growing up, and my generation was wild, man, in the 90s. But shit, man, like when I hear these stories about what my kids go through, man, it's just insane, man. Like, I don't know if you heard that kid got shot on Halloween, man. It's some Halloween party where there's 200-300 kids.
Yeah,
that was I knew that kid, and he was a friend of my kids, and you know, I was just thinking about the whole situation that what happened was the kid had stepped up because he seen a girl get beat by a dude. So he stepped in and started beating the dude's ass. Well, the dude started losing, and without any regard pulled out a gat and just shot the dude straight in the heart. You know, and to me, I'm thinking to myself, like, what makes a kid want to do that? You know, why is he even carrying a gun around in the first place? You know, you're not at war, man. Like, you know, but then once again, dude, that's society, man. It's like the music that he listens to, you know, the movies that he was watching. He felt like he had to be this certain persona or person to carry a gun around. And the minute it got a little bit tough for him, like he's starting to get his ass beat, you know, he had to take somebody's life. You know, like,
see, to me, that's reverse suicide.
Wow. Oh, yeah. His life. I mean,
because don't you think he would now? Don't you think he wishes he could have pulled that trigger and had like a 5-second delay?
Yeah. I mean, I hope so.
But do you know what I'm saying though? Like, honestly, like he's gonna sit there and look at it going like, what the fuck? Later on in life, my whole life is gone because I was fighting some dude.
Yeah.
And for nothing, I shot him and killed him for nothing. I took this man's life for nothing. To me, that's almost like suicide. Like,
yeah, it is.
I don't personally feel that he had the intention of killing that dude.
No, I don't think so either. No.
But I feel that if he had that 5-second delay and say his life flashed before his eyes real quick, boom, 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 jail, getting fucking raped in jail or some shit, you know, getting fights in jail, the whole 9 yards, dying in jail, man, I guarantee that gun would get put away.
But it's a fight or flight response, right?
And
like,
that's how you were raised, that processing stuff. Like, for me, like I said on the last, the microdosing, I feel like it unlocked a part of my brain that I never used before.
Oh, yeah.
Now I can funnel thoughts through there so quickly. I can make those decisions, like you said before, where I would instantly respond with anger.
Right.
That was just that was natural. And now I realize, once you realize you have a choice in the matter, because you choose who you talk to, how you talk to them, when you talk to them, and what mood you're in. That's a choice.
Right.
Someone doesn't. I had a bad day at work today. Well, that's a choice.
Yeah.
You know, you went to work, right? You ate lunch. Did you drive your car home because it had gas in it? Oh, it started. Oh shit. Okay. You know what I mean? Like if you don't look at the positives throughout your day, those negatives will stack up real quick.
Oh yeah, very fast.
And that mindset will fuck you up.
Yeah, and man, once again, like I said, I like to look at things backwards. You know, like, you know, let's go back to the amygdala. Maybe this kid was exposed to some trauma or drama in his life, and you know, and now when he had a trigger moment, that was his first instance of response versus having that 5 seconds of processing things, right? And so, meditation and breathing exercises have helped me not to pull in front of you and pull you out of your truck. You know, it helped me being able to be calm and process things a lot better. Like somebody had told me this story, and I'm not a big fan of the ancient samurais. I think they look cool and like they got nice swords, but I don't really know shit about them. And during this meditation practice, they had told us that the ancient samurais, they used to sit there and meditate for about 2 hours or 3 hours, several hours before going into battle. And the reason for this is because when they walked into battle nice and calm, they can make calculated moves in their head, like, hey, the enemy is going to do this. I'm going to block it, and slash over here and win the fight.
It's almost fighting in slow motion.
Yeah, but if you're going to run into battle all hyped up, swinging that sword, like most likely you're just going to get stabbed and you die, and that's it. You know, so like try to look back into this kid that pulled out that gun, right, and shot that other kid. It's like if he would have just been able to process what's going on, he probably would have just been able to turn his back and walk away. Right. But instead, you know, he made the wrong choice, and now, reverse suicide. Man.
Or why were you beating on a girl in the first place? Yeah. How were you raised? Is that what you saw growing up? Was your mom a victim of domestic violence? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many factors.
Hey, you know what I want to throw out there too, man? That really blew my mind because I talked to some of the kids that were there at that party, and I said, "What's the first thing that everybody did?" Well, the people run, cell phones. Mm-hmm. They started recording. Nobody was doing CPR, resuscitating, stop the bleeding, apply pressure. No, people are pulling out cell phones and making videos and saying, look, he's turning colors. He's not moving. You know, like, what the hell's going on?
Thank you for documenting that for the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing? Is that what we really have gone to, where the first instinct when something bad happens is to document and pull it out?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, let's provide aid.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's happening way too much nowadays, you know? And so, you know, we kind of are losing track of our original roots. And, you know, like I said earlier, man, like I like to go back down to my roots, man, like find out like what my true values are and who do I want to be as a person, not who you want me to be or the government or the system or anybody, you know, like I want to operate from in here, you know, and it's taken me a long time to get to that place, but, you know, if I can do it, so can you, you know, and everybody can.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's proof. What's your Instagram again?
It's Amsterdam Man.
Amsterdam Man. It's MHANU.
Yeah, you got
Mhanu.
it. Yeah. Good
Mhanu,
job.
I appreciate you coming in, brother. Thank you for telling your story.
Of course.
And you truly amazed me how you went from freaking absolutely fucking your life up, dude, to out here advocating and trying to help others, man. My hat goes off to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for stopping by, bro.
All right, man. Anytime.
Here we go.